See when the hot seaweed wasn't there yet.
Hello and welcome to Your Dad Learns StarCraft 2. I'm making this video to show you a certain strategy that my opponent did and the way that I defended it. And this is during 2018 Season 3. So right now, the current season as of this recording. And the strategy is a proxy double robotics facility. So let's go to the game and see how this worked. So in the lower right hand corner, wearing blue, my Protoss opponent, the Honorable Dusky, going up, making a pylon, and then running to their proxy spot. I'm taking my Overlord to their base. And in the upper left hand corner, your hero, your champion, your dad, playing Zerg the way that he does. So during this video, I'm going to try to show you some things that I could have done better, and that my opponent could have done differently, or could have done better, and this could have changed the results. Right now, the results are good for me because I won, but this first Overlord, he's just going straight over here. I've started sending the Overlord behind my natural to kind of scout out these back areas and then up here. And then, when I'm making my third Overlord, the second one can check around my potential third base area for proxies, while the second one goes back to my natural. So I'm opening my standard, oh not my standard, the standard 17 hatch gas pool, and they're going for robotics facilities. So for that, for Robo facility, you have to have your gateway and your cybernetics core, and then you can build robotics facilities. So they're just kind of building up. They've got their workers, and they're going to try to saturate their base. And now the cybernetics core finished. They're making warp gate tech, and they're making some robo facilities. And here comes my second mistake. We'll look at my vision. So I see their proxy right here. And I see when it's got less than 100 to go, and I send over some Zerglings. And that's why that was bad. That build was warping in. This one was going to warp in just a second. If I'd waited 3 to 5 seconds, instead of them being able to cancel those 150, 300 minerals and 150 gas, they would have lost the full amount for both of those buildings. Because I'd be able to destroy this before they could defend these at all, easy. Destroy this, take out those two buildings. They're at a much higher resource deficit than they are right now. That's 450 resources in total they would have lost. So I could change my scouting pattern. I could have denied some resources with that. I also do not try to check to see if there's another proxy going on. I've got Zerglings. I could easily take one of them and check here, here, down here, this whole part of the map, and I'd find out, oh, there's another proxy. They're determined. Instead, I run over to their base. Because, look at my vision again, I looked, I see what they have, and I figure, hey, I can break in there and maybe do some damage. So I'm injecting my bases, doing my tech, making a layer, and they're making their proxy again. So at this point, I've made 5 banelings. This is because banelings do 80 damage to structures. 5 times 80, that's 400 for the pylon. I could just take that right out, and then have 7 Zerglings to kind of go into their minerals and go nuts. But right here, I miss micro and accidentally lose 2 of my guys to that stalker, which means that doesn't go through, which means I don't break through. And I don't even know at the point if I needed the banelings, because when I first spotted them, this wasn't up. I probably could just throw Zerglings at them. But I'm just going through the game, making some creep tumors, making my third hatchery. A little late. Could have been out over a minute ago, but you know, this is a gold level game, so it's not going to be the fastest of timings. And they've got their 2 immortals. They're making a warp gate, an immortal. They queued up another immortal, which is more resources. And they're making another shield battery. And this is at the point where they have this guy here, and now they're doing their attack. And they're making 2 immortals. Maybe they're going to try to make 2 more right off the bat, which they could. And yeah, right now they're taking out my queens, which is annoying. Because what you want to do in this position, on the base that I have, and I finally started producing more units because I wasn't producing them for a second. I'm also not using these to attack, I don't know why. Like I said, not played perfectly. But I have a ton of minerals. I should be making queens. I should be massing queens. Because the way you beat this is you kill their warp prism, and then your zerglings can surround and destroy the immortals. Because immortals do 20 damage, and they do 50 versus armored. Zerglings are not armored. Zerglings can rip up immortals. I just have nothing to kill the prism. And I made queens a little bit ago, 23 seconds ago. I remembered to start making them, because I need queens to take out this prism. That, or I need to get hydralisks. Now at this point, my opponent, 3 more pylons, another immortal. They actually queued another one. So this has 2 there instead of 1 and 1, which I didn't notice before. That's misplay. Instead of making all this, which is good, they want to not get supply blocked. They could be making a nexus down here, and they could be building their economy. So with this nexus here, they could be building their economy. They could be teching up. They could be moving to a plan B in case their first plan doesn't work. They got stopped here, so they got delayed quite a bit to come down here and make stuff. They should be working on their second plan. And they can still maintain this. They can still keep doing this plan and start their economy. That's the beauty of doing proxies with Protoss or Terran, the 2 you can do proxies with. But especially Protoss, you just start your buildings and you go away, your worker can do whatever. You can start this nexus and keep making those pylons, keep making shield batteries, whatever you want to do. And you can be making workers and making your army. Zerg, it's different, because you have, like this base, I have 5 larvae. I can make army or economy with each larva, or an overlord, just not get supply blocked. Right now that's not an issue because they keep killing my drones and stuff, but I have to choose whether to put on pressure with zerglings. Right now in this case, queens don't take larvae, so they're free, they cost minerals, but they're not taking up a production slot. So your only non-larva unit is your queen. So I can make drones or I can make army units for pressure. They can do both, and right now they're not. They haven't made a probe in a long time because they've got their base mostly saturated. They moved some stuff off of that gas, or I killed stuff and they just never rebuilt. So they're not keeping up their economy, and they're not making more economy. They've seen that I'm on 3 bases, and this is their position. They know I've got zerglings. They can assume that I'm trying to make queens or something. They're bringing in more immortals, but they know I'm doing tons of zerglings, which will kill the immortals. So they could be, and I'll resume here, they could be building up towards Sky Toss. They could be making some Void Rays. They could be making some Oracles, some Corsairs. They could even just go with a bunch of Warp Gates. Like, once they have this base going, go with a bunch of Warp Gates and just help this attack. But instead, they're not. They're making an immortal. I'm making a queen. And nothing further. I'm making more zerglings and a queen. And you'll notice once I took out that warp prism with my queens, these just start getting shredded. Zerglings utterly destroy immortals just by sheer numbers and being able to surround them. They go down faster if their back wasn't against the wall. So at this point I know they have a proxy somewhere. Like, so I find it, they don't have a prism yet. So, take him out, he dies. Start attacking this guy, but they got their warp prism out. I've made 3 more queens. And now they're at a point where they're going to have trouble trying to kill me. Once again, I just started production, making a drone, and I'm making a hydralisk den. That's because hydras are a good answer to Immortal prism. They can hit the prism if the immortals are in there. They're not armored, and they do a lot of damage. And they do it fast. Immortals shoot once every second. Hydras and Zerglings are both about half a second, and they hit. So, while they're attacking my base, I run through and start attacking their mineral line. And I've got Zerglings at home. They're rallied over here, and I don't notice it. I've got Zerglings I can send over here. I finally pull my workers off of there, and I start making some static defense. Make a couple spore crawlers for the prism, make some spine crawlers, and I can walk them wherever I need them. And here's the thing, I've destroyed their base. Now they're thinking about rebuilding. But at this point, they've got 2 probes, I have 12 drones. 12 drones, no larvae yet, because I'm making a bunch of stuff, but now I've got larvae coming out. I'm going to rebuild my economy way before them. And now I've got Hydrals coming out, I've got static defense coming out. Tries to walk up, sees I have static defense. Now they tear apart static defense because this is armored. So it's not the best. But I have these Zerglings, I have Hydralisks. And they've now lost. They give up. But I know their stuff's down here, I'm about to head this way. I destroyed this base and just re-rallied. Because this is essentially not in the game. He hasn't been using it the whole time, it's just been defense. So once their economy was gone, they didn't build a secondary one, which I didn't know they could have built a secondary one. But now they're on incredibly low resources for what they're trying to do. They would have to try to rebuild, and they're not going to be able to keep up. Like I pointed out, 2 probes, 12 drones. If I make 9 drones, like, I'm on 21 really quick. It takes 12 seconds to make a drone. In 12 seconds, I can be on 21 drones. They're not going to be there. One, they have to wait for their base to finish, but even if it was, they can't build probes that fast. Even Chrono Boosted, they ain't going to do that. So, at that point, the game's just done, because I just have to go wipe this stuff out, and then check the map to look for other stuff. And part of the reason why that game ended up going well for me, even though, no offense to my opponent, or myself, I suppose, but both of us played that game really, really loose, really sloppy. Lots of things could have been tighter. But I kept teching. I kept my technology going. I didn't spend my resources efficiently, but I kept making technology. I had my lair early, when I saw what they were doing. I defended, then got my Hydralisk den up, made some static to try to deal with the prism. These wouldn't really deal with the Immortals, but with Zerglings, it's not bad to have them, just with the Zergling backup. And once Hydralisk was there, that's the nail in the coffin against a Warp Gate Robo Immortal strategy. Because like I mentioned, Hydralisks, 0.54 seconds to attack. They get almost 2 attacks for every 1 attack of an Immortal. Definitely get 3 attacks for every 2 attacks. So, they just can overwhelm Immortals really well. And if they try to pick up the Immortals, you can just destroy the Warp Prism. So, you stop that strategy, and my opponent never presented me with another problem. They gave me the first problem of, hey, Warp Prison Immortals, what are you going to do? I'm going to make a lot of Queens and Zerglings. When I get any breathing room, I'm going to go try to take out your base, take out your economy, which I did because they had a gap in their wall. This guy was hanging out up here for some reason. He wasn't hold positioning over here. So I ran by, took out their economy, and I kept building, I kept teching. They didn't. So, kind of just a quick recap. I changed my scouting patterns from this point at the beginning. I could have scouted more of this and scouted this sooner. I could have denied more resources by not rushing this with Zerglings right away as soon as I saw it. I could have been making more queens, and I could have built my third base quicker. And that's just some stuff right off the top. I did keep teching, although I wasn't the most efficient. I kept my economy going, I kept teching up, I got to Hydralisks, I got to where I could answer the problem they gave me. My opponent, they could have made their proxy a little further away and hoped I wouldn't check there, but most of the time this probably doesn't get scouted, especially at this level, I'm pretty sure. Most people are probably not scouting that area. And they could have, I think the biggest thing they could have done is built this about 5 minutes sooner than they did, 4 minutes sooner than they did, had an actual economy going here, and teched up and built to a different threat level. You know, build some Air Force, build some support units, something, so you can stay relevant in the game. I don't think, neither of us really even made upgrades. So, that's just kind of my take on how this game went, and what the defense I did to take out that problem, and a way you can counter it. Zerglings, queens, get to Hydras. That kind of shuts down this kind of all-in strategy that they were doing. And their response could have been, well, it's not going to be all-in. I'm still going to have an economy behind it. I'm going to keep making my economy. So, yeah. Either that could work for them. But that's what happened. I'm glad with the outcome. It's the first time I played against that, and I managed to hold it off, even though I definitely didn't build stuff and was panicking a little bit, and was being stressed on my micro, which is not, I do not have a high APM. But, yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you did, feel free to give it a like, pass it around, share it a little bit, and leave any comments that you have in the comment section. Either pertaining things about this video, or if there are other stuff you'd like to see me cover, or other things you'd like to see, let me know. I'd be more than happy to hear about it. If you did like the video, dislike button's down there. You can leave any constructive criticisms down there as well. And until the next video, as always, I've been your dad. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.